Hey guys, and thank you for watching. You'll notice that I have you nice up close and personal today because I'm going to show you my foundation routine. So let's get into it. I always like to start off by priming my face, and so I'm going to show you 3 of the primers that I've been using lately. Of course, I have my Holy Grail Too Faced Hangover RX face primer. I love this primer because I have dry skin, so it feels very hydrating, but it also gets, now I hate saying this, it gets a little bit of a tacky feeling, but not like uncomfortable tacky, like a tacky feeling that really makes your foundation stick. So this is my go-to Holy Grail. However, I also have been enjoying this sample that I got of the Murad Invisibler Perfecting Shield primer, and this has SPF 30. This is something I got in my Play by Sephora box, and I've really been enjoying it. It blurs out my skin, but it also has SPF, which I really need in the summer. And then the third primer that I've been using, I've only used this a couple times, but it's the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. Again, a sample I got in my Sephora box, and this is actually the primer that I'm going to use today. So I'm going to just pump a little bit onto my finger, like that much. And then what I do is I just dot it onto my face first. And then I take my clean fingers and I just rub it in. And I've noticed that this primer, it's supposed to give your face like a little bit of like an illuminating effect. And it totally does that before I put my foundation on. But I haven't really noticed, now this is probably only like my 4th time using it, but I haven't really noticed that illumination kind of coming through once I've put my foundation on. So I mean, we'll see if it does that today. I'm going to be using a little bit of a lighter coverage foundation today, a CC cream. So we'll see if that pokes through. But that's my first step, is to prime. Let me get my hair out of my face. The next step is I have some dark circles under my under eyes. I always have them. It doesn't matter how much I sleep. So I like to correct those before I put foundation on. And so I like to use the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. And I use this with, this was a BH Cosmetics brush that I got, I think, on Hautelook a long time ago. And so I just kind of dip the brush in and I put it, I concentrate it right here where I have a little bit of darkness. And then once I've kind of laid it on there, I like to spray my beauty blender with some Fix Plus and just dab over it to make sure it sinks into the skin. Go in with my foundation, and 2 of the foundations that I've been loving for summer are my new L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, and I like this because it's pretty light coverage. You can build it up to like a more medium full coverage, but it also has SPF 15. And then my IT Cosmetics CC cream, which has SPF 50, and this also gives you really good coverage for a CC cream, but it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. So this is the one that I'm going to be using today, and I like that it has a pump as well. It helps keep things clean. And so I just do like a pump and a half onto the back of my hand, and then I'm going to use my finger to first dab it where I want it, and then I will go in with my beauty blender to blend it all in. The next step is to go in with concealer, and I use the concealer to kind of help out that brightening under eye corrector, just to make my under eyes look nice and bright and fresh. And you'll also see me use it to kind of highlight in the middle of my face. I'm going to be using the, what is this one? Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin Concealer. This is a new concealer to me, and I mean, it works okay, but I don't love it. I wouldn't say that it's like a favorite of mine, because you'll notice I have to go back in to get more product every time I bring it onto my face. And so I just kind of make a little triangle under my eye there. I have to dip it back in. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Make a little triangle, a strip down the middle of my nose. Then I'm just going to kind of dot on the top, on the chin, a little bit on the Cupid's bow, and then I'm going to go in with my damp beauty blender to blend it all out. And once I've done the initial blending, I do like to take the butt of my beauty blender, which I use to apply my foundation, and just kind of go over the areas that I put concealer on a little bit, just to make sure it's really nice and blended. Now, I have dry skin, so I don't really do any heavy baking, but I am going to take a little bit of the Laura Mercier, the translucent powder, and I'm just going to set lightly where I put my concealer. I don't want to go in real heavy because it's going to give me that cake face and make my face feel dry. So I just want to go in with a light dusting to set everything and make sure nothing settles into any fine lines or creases. My next step is to contour a little bit, and so I like to use the Milk Chocolate Soleil Bronzer by Too Faced, and I use this little Makeup Geek. This is actually a rounded blush brush, but I feel like it works out really nicely in the hollows of my cheeks to contour. So what I'm going to do is just swirl my brush around a little bit, and then I like to tap it off. And I'm just going to take it and put it right in the hollows of my cheeks lightly, and then you'll see me start to go in a circular motion to blend it out. Then I'm going to take it up onto my temples, and just a little bit on the forehead, lightly. Back down to the cheek, and a little bit underneath my chin. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, I've really been into nude blushes lately, so this is the Becca Cosmetics and Jaclyn Hill Split Pan, and this is the one that has the Amaretto Blush and Prosecco Pop. Not a huge fan of the Prosecco Pop. I've been using it a little bit and mixing it in with Champagne Pop, but I really love this blush. So I'm going to use my Real Techniques blush brush, dip it in a little bit, go in with a light hand because you can always build up, and I start on the apples of my cheeks and I bring my blush back. And do the same thing with the other side. The next thing I like to do is take my beauty blender and a little bit of powder, not too much, and I just like to carve out underneath my contour to make it a little bit more harsh. And then whatever little bit of powder is left, I just kind of go back over the center of my face where I put the concealer, but nothing too crazy. Then I'm going to highlight, and I'm just going to mix in a little bit of Prosecco Pop with my Becca Cosmetics and Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop highlighter. And then I'm going to take just the Champagne Pop and put it on my Cupid's bow and a little bit on my nose. For the highlighting, I'm going to use my Sigma F35 tapered highlighter brush. And I like to put that right on the high part of my cheekbones and a little bit on my temple. And then with whatever's left, just a little bit over the brow. This is the Morphe MB23, and I'm going to use this for my Cupid's bow and nose. Once I'm done highlighting, I just take my e.l.f. small stippling brush and I just dust off any powder under my contour. And I also take it underneath my chin with no extra product, just to make sure everything's blended. Then to finish it off and set everything, I'm going to take my MAC Fix Plus and just spray it over my face. So this is it. This is the finished look. That is my normal everyday foundation routine, including my highlight, contour, all of that good stuff. I hope that you guys found this helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and become part of the KBellaBeauty family, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!